What is happening, everybody? Liv Moods here, back. I'm going to turn the TV down. I am watching the game alongside you guys. Ooh, and sweating out some of my bets. I posted them to Twitter or X, whatever we call it nowadays. I don't really know. But I do have some bets that I'm sweating out. Unfortunately, they're not looking so hot because where is Kyrie Irving? Does anyone have any idea where this man is? Because I was really anticipating, and here's my problem. I will absolutely openly admit I think I played into the storylines a little bit when it came to this series. I'm not the largest Celtics fan, mostly because of their fan base. And I really like Kyrie Irving. So to me, facing his former team, the team that wronged him, I really ate that up. I did. I fell for it. I took the Kyrie bait and I fell for it. So game one rolls around. I actually didn't bet on Kyrie except for his assists. He was the only leg of my parlay for game one that did not hit. So you would think I would have a grudge. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Wrong. I actually doubled down for game two. Kyrie, 25 plus points, 3 plus threes, and a Mavericks cover. Well, beginning of the game was looking really swell for that Mavericks cover. Not so sure now. It's 6.5 points. And Kyrie has been MIA. MIA. I have really struggled in this game with Kyrie. He hasn't even really been taking 3-point shots. First half, I think he took one. So yeah, I'm kind of, I think emotionally a little distraught because if it was not going to be the Denver Nuggets, let it be the Dallas Mavericks. Don't let it be the Boston Celtics. Oh my Lord. Especially because they had a cakewalk getting through the Eastern Conference, which I will say, I am willing to tuck my tail and say, most of the cakewalk that they had is a result of their talent. Yes, I can admit that. This is a talented team. Actually, I would argue this isn't the most talented team in the NBA, but they seem to have a really solid chemistry. They're fundamentally sound. They have what they need. I wouldn't say they're the most talented, but they have what they need. And they've been consistent across the board. They've got momentum. And they've cakewalked the East. So it hasn't really been a hard run through the playoffs so far for this team. And it's not really looking hard for them right now. Again, going to give some credit where it's due. That some of that could be a result of skill, talent, of course. So I will give credit. I will give credit where it's due. I don't like it, especially with the Celtics. But there is some credit to be given here. They are a talented team. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. On that topic, though, I would love to hear from the chat. I see we've got quite a few people in here. I'm going to quote tweet the video and tell people to come hang out with us. We'll get some more people in here. But I want to ask you guys, there's always a conversation about, I don't know if there's ever been, not just currently in the NBA, I don't know if we compare two players on the same team more than we do Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And typically the crowd will favor Jason Tatum over Jaylen Brown from a talent perspective. I would love to know your thoughts on this. After tonight, we saw Jason Tatum start this game kind of cold, couldn't really buy a bucket. So what are your thoughts, chat? Who is the leader of this team? Because I feel like that's kind of you could look at this from a talent perspective, or you could look at this from who can corral the group the best. I would argue it's Jaylen Brown. I know he can't dribble with his left hand. Okay, leave the poor man alone. I am still watching this game, you guys, so if I look up at all, that is why. I highly doubt my bet's going to cash. I mean, Kyrie would have to just go ballistic here, and I don't think that he's going to because he's been MIA the whole game. Okay, might be onto something here. But whose team is this? Is it Jaylen Brown? Is it Jason Tatum? I want to let you guys, the chat can let me know. Oh my gosh. It's a wrap, you guys. Oh, it's a wrap. Not one of my parlay legs hit. Not one. Oh my gosh. I feel sick. Here comes Kyrie with a 3. Okay. So the Celtics are winning the championship. It's being made very clear in these last 2 games. I'm feeling kind of upset right now. Am I the only person that just did not want the Celtics to be the winner of this champion? Yeah, it's over. It's over, you guys. 89-103 with 3:32 left. Now, I do think that most people anticipated that both of these teams were going to defend home court very well. Things may take a complete 180 flipperoo when we head to Dallas to watch this series. That's hard for me to believe at this point, having watched the Celtics not just dominate the postseason, but also dominate the regular season as well. I have a hard time believing they're going to give up both away games. But I'd like to think that a team that has a Kyrie Irving, maybe Kyrie just needs to go back home. Maybe that's, do you see what I'm doing? I'm making excuses for this man. Any other person that has ruined 2 parlays back to back for me is never spoken of positively again. It's like they are dead to me. I don't want anything to do with them. When it's Kyrie, I don't know why I have a soft spot for this man. I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like Kyrie just minds his business. Best ball handler in the league. He's been one of my favorite players to watch for some time now. And I've just been waiting for a team that appreciates him, makes him happy. I feel like he's on that team right now. But let's talk hypotheticals. Sorry, Kyrie. I hate to kill your thunder here. Is there a world in which, now, bear with me here. I know it would cost a lot, and I know it's probably unrealistic. Is there a world in which we ever see Luka Doncic and Jokic in the same jersey? AKA in Denver, because Jokic isn't going anywhere. I would love it. I do think it'd be a little pricey. I don't really know if... I don't want to say we don't need a Luka, but we do have some inconsistencies that I think he could help with. I don't know, just a thought. Do Luka and Kyrie stay together if they blow this? Probably. I want this for Kyrie so bad. I want this for Kyrie so stinking bad. And it's just not going to happen. 91-103 with, I think, 240 something left. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think in a really cool, super awesome world, Luka and Jokic would be able to play together because, you know, they're besties and they're both really good and both, I don't know, just love them together, really. But I'm not sure that we'll ever see that. Oh, we're getting Kyrie points, but only because he's at the line. Let's see what he's at now. What's he at? 16. But he's 0 of 3 from 3. And I had him making 3+. 16 points. It's not happening. I took 25+. There's 2 minutes and 51 seconds left. Derek Jones having himself a night with 11 points. Here's where I think the problem lies. Well, there's a lot of problems that I'm seeing right now with this Mavs team. I just feel like Luka, first of all, I think everyone should learn, if you don't know already, that if a player says questionable in the NBA, 90% of the time they're playing, okay? Don't take the bait. Please don't fall for it. I have fallen victim to this long ago when I first started, especially in the betting world. Don't do it. These players are playing, especially in a playoff game. Come on, get real. I mean, this is just a sad, sad world when you've got Luka scoring. My gosh, my computer doesn't want to pull it up. This man's got a triple-double. 29, 10, and 11. A triple-double for Luka after having 1 assist in game 1. Luka had 1 assist in game 1, 30 points, 10 rebounds. I actually had people on an Instagram live earlier telling me to take Luka for a triple-double, and I was like, he had 1 assist last game. He scored 30 points, 10 rebounds. He wasn't facilitating. He was the offense. Why on earth would I take him to have a triple-double? This man has 29, 10, and 11 as we speak. Kyrie Irving, I don't know where he went. He's gone. He had 16, which is not horrible, but when it's Kyrie, when you're Kyrie Irving in a playoff game to win a ring and you're down in the series, it is horrible to have 16 points. I'm sorry, but it is. 0 of 3 from 3. He was 6 of 19 in game 1 and made 0 threes. He hasn't made a 3 yet. I mean, no 3s made for Kyrie Irving? What is going on? Drew Holiday? Question mark? See, that's my problem. I'm willing to admit this to the chat. Chat, hear me when I say I am willing to admit. Oh, this is a hard one for me. I am willing to admit that I have tried to find every excuse and or reason to not give the Celtics credit for just being a talented team. Yes, I have. I'm sorry. It's true. For example, Kyrie Irving, bad game 1. You know what I said? He's just pacing himself. We're good. Okay. So I go all in on Kyrie Irving for game 2, right? 3+ threes, 25+ points. Haven't seen a 3 made by him. We've got a minute left in the game. Okay. He's not even close to 25+, by the way, just in case you weren't watching. I go all in on Kyrie Irving. He has a bad game. I just want to chalk it up to, hey, he'll be better at home. No, Olivia, the reality is Drew Holiday's locking him up a little bit. Let's give some credit where it's due. I hate it. You see how my arms are crossed? I hate it. But, oh! I mean, they did make it a 5-point game. It's not going to happen. There's 38 seconds left, but they did cover the spread. If you're a bettor, you know how much these last few minutes matter, and that bucket matters because now they're down by 7. And the spread was what? 6.5. Oh, this is where if anybody put hundreds of thousands of dollars on the Mavericks to cover plus 6.5, right now they are losing their marbles. That bucket, that could have ruined their night right there. That missed bucket right there could have ruined their night. See, I want to chalk it up. See, that's defense. I got to give it to him. Because at the end of the day, here's the Celtics play great defense, have for a while. I've never questioned that. I just choose to not acknowledge it sometimes. Never questioned their defense. Always been great defensively. One of the best. Now, when you have a player like a Luka or a Kyrie, to me, they're kind of above good defense, in my mind. There's very few players that I would say can shake off a good defense no matter what. I would say Luka falls in that category. I should have known better because I've seen Kyrie in a playoff spot not be that guy. I've seen it. In those situations, he maybe didn't have to be, but I've seen Kyrie get swallowed up by defense. We're seeing it right now. I've got to give Drew Holiday some credit. I don't want to, but I have to. I've got to stop making excuses for Kyrie Irving. This man has ruined 2 parlays in back-to-back nights. Okay? So I need to let it go. I built up this story in my head, right? Against his former team, the team that wronged him so badly. He is going to show them who's boss and make Celtics fans cry. Wrong. There he goes. Jaylen Brown celebrating. 1.3 left. And guess what? Folks? They're down by 7. The spread was 6.5. The next time you look at your partner or your brother or your friend and you question why they're so intense about sports, but it's just a bet, it's just a game, watch your mouth. Because that hurts right there. That hook hurts. And if you know, you know. I don't have to explain it any further. If you know, you know. The group chats that had Mavs plus 6.5 right now, crying emojis. Probably some clown emojis as well. I bet they found a way to say Washington is such a clown for missing that. I guarantee. I know how it goes. I'm in this space. I get it. So that's tough. That's tough. With what? 30 seconds left, maybe? The spread went from looking covered and money in your wallet to not so much. Okay, now that this game is over, let's chat about the potential of a bounce back by the Mavs. Okay. We've seen it before. Hello, Denver Nuggets. We didn't see it end the way that it needed to, but we did see the Nuggets lose 2 at home, which I would argue was much, much worse, and then turn things around, get on the road, button themselves up, and make it a series. Just because the Celtics are up 2-0 does not mean it is over for the Mavs. Now, watching these games, let's look at the stats, okay? And let's be real with ourselves. I will try to remove my bias, for real, okay? Of the Celtics starters, you only had 2 that were above 20 points. Jaylen Brown with 21 and Holiday with 26. Holiday was a beast. 26, 11, and 3. And locking up Kyrie Irving. Okay, I'll give it to you, Drew. You rock. Al Horford, 5 points. I don't expect playoff Al to really be popping off the older that he gets, if we're being completely honest. He did have a much better game 1 with 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. In this game, he had 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Jason Tatum with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. He was sniffing a triple-double himself. I saw a lot of people wanting to bet that. What is the likelihood you see Jason Tatum go 1 of 5 from 3 again? Chat, help me out. Maybe we don't see it. What is the likelihood that we see Jaylen Brown go 1 of 5 from 3 again? I mean, I hate that. Now, to play devil's advocate, as much as I love a Derek White, do we expect him to have 18 points again? To go 4 of 10 from 3? It's super possible. Last game, what did he have? I know he had like 15 points last game. I'm not sure about his threes. 3 of 8. Okay. So, Derek White is just going to keep doing his thing. Also, he's a Colorado Rez. I don't know if you guys knew that. He grew up in Colorado, so shout out to him. Porzingis. Oh. I really fell for that as well. Thinking this man hasn't been in the playoffs, right? He's been injured. He may be babying the injury a little bit. It may take him a second to find his rhythm and groove and get himself warmed up. Wrong. Stupid. I have to admit it. I have been looking for every way to not give the Celtics credit for being talented. It's true. The cakewalk. They've had an easy run to the playoffs. What else have I said? That was really it. I really was pressed about the fact that it was a cakewalk for them, and maybe so. I do actually still agree with that. However, it's not really seeming like it matters. Let me ask you this, chat. And again, the Mavs have rightfully earned their spot in this championship series. Is there another team in the West that you think would have competed better against the Boston Celtics? I know it's only been 2 games, but I have to tell you, these 2 games have been a snooze fest. The next person that tells me the Denver Nuggets are a boring team to watch is getting punched in the mouth. Yes, that was a threat. I apologize. I'm struggling to keep myself awake for the last 2 games. And I had a lot of people on X, a lot of people telling me that nobody would watch a Denver Nuggets finals performance. Nobody would watch. I'm going to be honest, the Nuggets Timberwolves series was a whole lot more entertaining than this. I'm bored. And yes, I no longer have a dog in the fight, so maybe that's part of it. My team is no longer there, so I've lost a little bit of interest. But chat, am I wrong, or is this kind of feeling like a boring series? Is there a team in the West that would have competed better against the Boston Celtics. Do not misunderstand what I am saying. The Mavericks have earned their right to be here. Point blank, period. And I am rooting for them. But is there a team in the West that would have competed better, matched up better against this Celtics team? I'm looking at some of the comments. It's hard for me because I know that I reach a lot of Denver Nuggets fans, and I don't want us to be biased, you guys. I want us to keep it real. But I have seen some comments that a healthy Nuggets team would have competed fine against the Celtics. I'm just reading the comments. Adam Hurley must be trying to make me laugh. He said the Lakers. I might give you that one, actually. I might give you that one, Adam. Believe it or not. But believe it or not, I'm going to give you that one. Cameron Mingo says, I am tired of these NBA fans saying it doesn't count whenever someone wins a championship. I am not saying it doesn't count. I am saying you would be a little delusional to think that the Celtics would have had the exact same result had Jimmy Butler, Tyrese Halliburton, and Donovan Mitchell been playing. Come on. Those aren't bench players. Those aren't sixth men that are out. Those are the offense of those teams. Come on. We got to keep it real with ourselves here. It might have looked a little different for them. I'm not saying they wouldn't have made it to the finals. I'm saying it would have looked different. We've got people saying that the Suns would have matched up better against the Celtics than the Mavs. Again, don't misunderstand me. The Mavs have earned the right to be here. If you're just not tuning in, I don't want you going, what is she talking about? No, listen, we're just talking hypotheticals here. We've watched 2 boring basketball games. Yes, I said what I said. Bored. Don't ever come in my mentions again telling me the Denver Nuggets are boring. Don't do it. Raise your hand in the chat if you find these 2 games to be overly entertaining. Please. Show of hands so I can rip you to shreds. You are lying through your teeth. Your pants are on fire because you're a liar. Come on now. Don't play. This is boring. I'm just saying. The only reason that I bring up the Denver Nuggets is because that is the word people love to use in the same sentence as the Denver Nuggets. Boring. Really? Every series I watched the Nuggets play was far more entertaining. I haven't seen a buzzer beater. I haven't seen a Jamal Murray moment yet. Okay, I know they're not playing anymore. I'm just saying. Don't use the word boring again, because I'm going to pull up this footage, okay? I'm missing some of these comments. Let's see what's going on here. Adam said nobody can actually stop LeBron and AD. 12-1, Adam, in the last 13. 12-1. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Anthony says, nah, it's been boring as hell. I agree. I'm bored. Oh my gosh, I'm bored. These 2 games, boring. Just boring. I'm not a fan of this finals matchup. I'm not. Was I dead wrong in Mavs in 5? Yeah. Mavs in 5 is dead. Officially. Okay. So that's over and done with. I can tuck my tail and say I was wrong. I was super wrong. What's Tyler got to say? I have to watch the Nets 82 times a year, so anything is more entertaining than that. That is fair. That is fair. Adam says 12 in a team sport. LeBron and AD weren't stopped. So because it's a team sport, you say that the Lakers would have had a chance. The Celtics are also a good basketball team with 2 guys that struggle to be stopped. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I don't think that is helping answer the question that I asked. Cedric says, do you think the Mavs can even this series live? Not without Kyrie Irving. They can't. Not without Kyrie Irving. They can't. Kyrie, where are you? I look like Boo Boo the Fool on Twitter right now. Can you please show up? Can you please tap into that veteran, I've been here before energy, please and thank you? Because I've had it to my limits. Cameron says Mavs deserve to be in the finals because they were underdogs in the first 3 series against the Clippers, Thunder, and Timberwolves. I wouldn't say that means they deserve to be here, but they definitely proved just how many people were wrong about them, myself included. I didn't think they would be able to hang with the Timberwolves. I made a very, very steep statement in saying that whoever won between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets was winning it all. And that I didn't fear the East. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. I hate that for me. And you know what? Here's the thing. Oh, here comes Adam. Chat. Please silence Adam in the chat. Okay, the latest from Adam is this. Let me sit myself up here. You won 2 games in buzzer beaters against the Lakers, then bragged about like you destroyed us. No, I think what we bragged about is the fact that the Lakers blew a 20-point lead to lose at the buzzer. It wasn't about the buzzer beater. It was about the fact that the Lakers had that game for 3 quarters and then crapped their pants with 2 of what you are saying are the most unstoppable players in the league. That's what we talked about. Yeah, the buzzer beater was sick. It was good. It was clickbaity. Every sports media company that exists out there was posting about it. Rightfully so. It was sick. But what was sicker is the way in which the Lakers lost those games. So, Adam, respectfully, you are wrong. And I also think, Adam, respectfully, this whole destroyed us thing that the Nuggets fans were speaking to Lakers fans has to do with the 12-1 record in the last 13 games. And 20-point leads being blown. So the Nuggets didn't really actually win on a buzzer beater. I mean, yes, technically, yes, they did. But they also won because they climbed back from a 20-point deficit to win a playoff game. Speaks more about the Lakers being losers in that game than it does the Nuggets being winners. It just sucks because the way in which the Nuggets won was probably blasted all over your social media for days on end, and it was like pouring salt in the wound over and over and over and over again. So, Adam, respectfully, I think that's what they were talking about. Not the buzzer beater. No. 12-1 record? Maybe. Climbing back from a 20-point deficit? Maybe. That's probably what they were referring to. So, on that note, actually, while we're here, Cameron at the very bottom says, only Laker talk we know about is possible hiring of UConn's head coach. Let me just put this out there really quick, and then we're moving on from all things Lakers, because I know people are going to be like, she even finds a way to talk about them when they're not even playing. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Let me start by saying, and I've said this a million times before, the Lakers want to be talked about. Would you like an example? Okay, here I go. JJ Redick, new head coach. Wrong. Dan Hurley, new head coach. Wrong. Or maybe right. But it's not about you right now. I mean, come on. Are we not seeing a pattern of behavior here? The Lakers got eliminated last season, and all media heads wanted to talk about was LeBron flirting with retirement that we all knew he wasn't going to actually do. Come on. Let's cut to the chase. Lakers haven't played in 2 weeks, maybe more. And all of a sudden, we're talking about their new head coach. Who gives a rip? I think we've all known JJ Redick was in conversation to be the new head coach? Why, just days before the finals start, are we talking about it like a headline? It's been being talked about. I didn't think it was a secret. So when it dropped and everybody's taking the damn bait like the media wants us to do and is re-talking about it like it's this big deal, I'm sorry, it never seemed like a big deal to me because it's been being talked about for months. But now all of a sudden, okay, we've been only talking about JJ, and now all of a sudden we've got UConn's coach has entered the chat. It is click, click, click. We haven't played in 2 weeks, but why aren't people talking about us? Where's the headline? And I'm not going to just blame the Lakers for that. A lot of that also has to do with the media people. I mean, hell, look at me. I'm talking about them right now. I'm talking about them because the chat brought them up. But everything with them is strategy. Everything. It's a media performance. And that's just kind of the era that we live in nowadays with athletes and with social media. We've never felt closer to athletes. There's a lot of fans out there that feel like these athletes are their friends because they follow them on social media and comment on every post that they post and swipe up hard eyes on every story. Okay, we feel like we're friends with these people and they don't know we exist. Media has never made us feel more tapped into information or has never given us the access to information like we have. So media companies everywhere know that when they put something out there, people are sprinting with it. But the Lakers love that. They always have, okay? They always have. So in regards to the Lakers' new head coach, I don't know. I've been thinking that JJ Redick was the answer, and I was excited to see what he was going to do. And now all of a sudden, I don't even know if he's the one that they're looking at. I'm not taking the bait. I can't think about it any further right now because, like everyone's saying, they're not playing right now. So who cares at the moment? Now, in the off season, I might care. Right now, I don't care. After 4 years with Kai, he showed up against everyone except Boston. It's just the one bad matchup for him. Oh my gosh, you guys. So let's talk about the Mavericks for a second. Is there hope for the Dallas Mavericks? Not without Kyrie Irving. Kyrie. What do I do? What do I do, Kyrie? You've killed 2 parlays of mine. And I still have nothing but love. I'm over here making excuses for you, Kyrie. I'm saying just get this guy back to Dallas. He's good. He'll figure it out. He'll shake it off. I'm giving you more credit than I'm giving Drew Holiday for locking you up. Shame on me. Can't help it. I so badly, Kyrie, want this for you. I want this to be the Celtics versus Kyrie final chapter, middle finger to the sky. F you. F what you said about me. And kiss this. Booyah. Mic drop. That's what I want for you, Kyrie. I really do. And I've been feeding into a story that I have pinned. I have created a story in my head that looks really good. You would like it, Kyrie. Problem is, it's not really transpiring the way that I would like it to. Now, being down 0-2 in a series does not mean you are out, okay? The Nuggets lost 2 at home, and I'm just using them as an example because it's fresh on the mind. Fresh. So clearly I'm still mourning the loss. I'm kidding. They lost 2 at home and managed to regain momentum to win 3 straight. Yeah, 3 straight. 2 of which were on the road. So there is hope for the Mavericks in this series. It's getting smaller and smaller, but there is hope. Now, most people ahead of this series even beginning felt like both of these teams were going to defend home court very well. That both of these teams would do their job at home. We just saw the Celtics do that. Game 3 is going to be very telling as to where this series can potentially go. Luka needs help. To your point, Cameron, Luka needs help. And Luka mostly needs help from Kyrie, because I can give some flowers to some of the other starters on this Mavericks team. I've been very impressed with PJ Washington. 17, 7, and 1. Even Gafford. I saw a lot of people telling me to take Gafford double-double. He was 1 rebound shy, so that would have hurt my feelings. I'm glad I didn't do that. But 13, 9, and 0. And Jones, 11, 3, and 2. Now, the bench for the Mavs is doing just about nothing. Combined, they had 9 points for the bench. And then you've got Porzingis with 12 by himself off the bench. 3 from Pritchard, 2 from Hauser. Okay. So what? They had 17 compared to 9. So the bench has to step up. But more importantly, Kyrie Irving has to step up. I don't think that the Mavericks can survive in this series. They'll get swept if Kyrie doesn't start showing up. Period. I mean, Luka's doing his job. Triple-double tonight. 32, 11, and 11. Hello. Last game, he had 30 points, 10 rebounds. I'm sorry. Yeah, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. He was the offense. If Kyrie doesn't step up, it's a sweep. That's how I feel, honestly. Because you go down 0-3 in this series, and I don't feel good about what's left for you. Because the Celtics, yes, have had a cakewalk in the East, but that's working in their favor because they've got energy, okay? They've got energy to get through this. I'm looking for... Here's a crazy thought. Maybe the Mavericks just aren't even close to being as talented as the Celtics. Sammy, what's with the attitude? What's with the attitude, Sammy? I don't get it. What's with the attitude? You're right, but what's with the attitude? If you're just, Sammy, it appears you may have just started tuning in, which is fine. I have tucked my tail a few times on this show so far. Okay? And had to openly admit that there have been a lot of moments where I have tried and tried and tried to rob the Celtics of the pure talent that they have. Oh, well, Jimmy Butler was out. Tyrese Halliburton was out. Donovan Mitchell was out. They are talented. Very. So I should give a little credit where it's due. But I would be foolish to not acknowledge that the 3 teams that they cakewalked through in the East were without their best offensive player. That is a fact. Sammy, that's a fact. I'm not making that up. No Jimmy Butler, no Halliburton, no Mitchell. Those are facts. 3 facts. I didn't make that up. 3 facts. Okay. What I also believe to be fully true, and will say with my chest, is that the Western Conference is far more competitive than the Eastern Conference. Now, you could argue that much of the Eastern Conference was injured. And if they hadn't been injured, it maybe would have been a different story. But talking about this season specifically, the Western Conference was far more competitive than the Eastern Conference. So yeah, I didn't necessarily have a ton of faith. Now that's the wrong way to put it, actually. It's not that I didn't have faith in Boston. It's that I had more faith in the Mavs. Because they were battle tested, because they came out of the West, and because they have Luka and Kyrie. I took the bait. Absolutely took the bait. I'm willing to admit it. Okay? I'm 100% willing to admit it. Like Tyler says, the West was stacked. So to be able to make it through the West to me was an additional level of the talent that you have. That was another way of proving how talented you can be, was the competition that the Mavericks had to face, that the Celtics did not. Okay. While Boston has had one of the easiest paths to the finals in NBA history. That's how I feel, yes. That now, here's where this conversation gets difficult. That does not mean that the Celtics aren't a talented team with extraordinarily talented players and one of the best defenses. That's where this is really tough because you almost, hear me out, most fans will struggle to give credit to the Celtics without saying, but no Jimmy Butler, no Donovan Mitchell, no Tyrese Halliburton. So it gets a little foggy as to how good this Celtics team really is. As a sports fan, I would much prefer my team cruise through a conference against healthy opponents. Now, the Celtics can't control that at all. That's where this gets tough. That's where this conversation has Celtics fans up in arms, because this is out of the Celtics' control. They faced who they faced. They played their game. They won. They advanced. It's pretty simple. 2 + 2 = 4. So that's where this gets tough, because, again, you do have to address how easy or how much easier it was for the Celtics to get through the Eastern Conference without Jimmy Butler, Tyrese Halliburton, Donovan Mitchell. Those aren't just bench guys that are out. No. Those are the offenses of their opponents. Jimmy Butler is the Heat's offense, okay, in so many ways. Tyrese Halliburton is the Pacers offense in so many ways. And Donovan Mitchell, as we know, has been extraordinary for the Cavs offense. He is the offense in so many ways. So it's tough, because having a conversation about this Celtics team, I think this run by this Celtics team, let's say they win it all this year, I think it will always be blurred by the fact that they faced injured teams. If Luka and this contusion thing that he has going on keeps him out of any game in this series, it is just quadrupling down on what non-Celtics fans are talking about. What stinks for Celtics and Celtics fans is that they are a talented team. That is without question. But it's hard to speak about their talent without also adding that but, because there's always going to be that wonder now. Could the Miami Heat have gotten through? Now, I don't think so. I'm not saying that. I don't think that would have been a thing. But could the Knicks have done better with Julius Randle? There's all these shoulda, coulda, wouldas every year. So let's also not pretend like the Celtics are the first team to have an asterisk attached and have people doubting their performance. It happens. Every year there's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. If the Bucks had been healthy, they would have won it all. Okay, well, we'll never know that, because they weren't healthy and they're not here. The Celtics are, though. So it's always going to happen. Always going to be a part of winning a championship. There's going to be people that insert their opinion, and it is what it is. Isn't this run going to be crazy if the Mavs win back like in 2011, Liv? If the Mavs come back and win in 6 or 7 games, yeah, it would be wild. I would love that for a guy like Luka, for a guy like Kyrie Irving. I really would. Sports betting 101. If you're new to sports betting or you don't do it often, here is something that I tell people often. Bet with your head, not with your heart. Now, go ahead. Ask me what I've been doing for the finals. Not betting with my head. That's for sure. Hence the 2 parlays that haven't hit. Why? Because I bet on Kyrie Irving. I said game 1 was a fluke. No, he won't do that again. No way he plays that bad again. Bad is relative, I get. But 6 of 19 from the field for Kyrie Irving is bad. He's been MIA. Especially when you've got a Luka Doncic that's got 30 in game 1 and 32 in game 2 and a triple-double in game 2. Kyrie, where you at? Where are you, Kyrie? My parlay would like to know, and Luka Doncic would like to know. And Mavs fans would like to know, where are you? Please come out. Come out wherever you are. Bet with your head, not with your heart. Exactly right. It's not smart to bet with your heart. It's why I try my best to avoid not betting on my own teams. Now, that's cap a little bit, because I did bet on the Broncos last year. I just didn't bet on them to cover. That's the truth. I'm sorry. After a while, you have to just fade what you want to happen and instead tail what you think will happen. And as much as I love the Denver Broncos, I knew what time it was. Okay? So there you have it. Chat, Mavs in 5 is dead. That's what I originally had. Mavs in 5 is dead in the ground. 6 feet under. Bury it. It's gone. Can the Mavericks come back and win this series? I don't feel overly confident. I would say there's like a 35% chance that the Mavs come back. 35. Not that much. So 65% chance that the Celtics win this pretty soundly. I hate that. Oh, I just hate it. Oh, I just hate it. Hello, KT. Also, can we talk about the psychotic kid that asked for a picture with Luka and then put a 4 in his face? I mean, the savage level is through the roof. There are some clips. Now, I'm not talking about this kid. This kid's just a natural born savage. And, you know, good on him. But some kids need to be popped every once in a while. I got popped, and I turned out just fine. That is the ballsiest thing in the world to me, to ask this athlete for a picture and then hold a 4 in his face. Now, I'm pretty sure he was wearing a Celtics jersey, so the fact that Luka took a picture with him, Luka clearly doesn't care. But what a savage, honestly. My mom has entered the chat. Everyone say what's up to Kara Moody, my mother, my BFF. She's actually out of town right now. In Dallas. She's actually in Dallas. Mother, make some noise, okay? Because we really need the Mavericks to pull it together, and they're just not right now. My mom is out of town in Dallas, so start sending your vibes, Mom. Send all the vibes. Yeah, that guy, I mean, that kid, and he's young. Like, what a absolute savage. I will say, there was also a clip of a guy wearing a Mavericks jersey talking to Charles Barkley at the beginning of the game, saying like, oh, there's Jordan's son. There's the guy that's never won a ring, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Like, do we think that's funny? I don't even find that piece of content funny. I didn't laugh one time listening to him behave that way. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like promoting violence. I really don't. I'm all about peace and blessings. But some people need to get smacked. I'm just saying. I have met a lot of people in my life that I can tell have not been hit in the mouth because they talk out of the side of it a lot and they have very loose lips often. And I know for a fact those are people that have never been popped and probably should experience it once or twice. Kyrie had my parlay in hell. Welcome to the club, my friend. Jeff, Kyrie. I said, you know what, Jeff? Here's what I said. Game 1 was a fluke. No way Kyrie does that again. He was 6 of 19 from the field. No three-pointers made. There's no way he does that again. So I didn't just single down. No, I doubled down. I said, Kyrie, 3+ threes, money. Kyrie, 25+ points, easy money. It is the second parlay Kyrie has ruined for me. And Kyrie shouldn't care about my bets. No, that's not it. But you know who does care about you hitting your over in a backwards way? Your team. Because you can't score 16 points and compete against the Boston Celtics. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So let's get our lives together. Immediately. Ha! Kyrie has to admit the earth is round in order to bounce back. I don't make the rules. That might be the best comment I've seen all night. Kyrie has to admit the earth is round in order to bounce back. That is savage level 100 right there. The fans got to Kyrie. Okay, so Joe, look what you're doing, Joe. Because you know what? I'm reading you type that out and I'm going, he's right. Put him in Dallas. Do I need to triple down on Kyrie for game 3 for the third time with a third parlay? I don't want to do it, but I also really want to do it. Super bad. Really super bad. Oh my gosh. I don't want to do it, but I have to, I think. Okay, does Kyrie bounce back in game 3? I know I said he would do it in game 2. Looks like I was a little ahead of the curve here. My apologies. Does he bounce back in game 3? I need to know in the chat right now. Need to. Drop the answer, yes or no. Because if you tell me yes, I'll take it. I'll bet it. I'll place the bet right now. While we're live, I'll do it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'll do it right now. So just tell me. Just tell me when. If I need to do it, I'm doing it. That's the thing. I'm not scared of a parlay. I'm not scared of a bet. No. I'll do it. If you say yes, it's being done. Okay? Does he bounce back in game 3? Does Kyrie Irving show up for his teammates in game 3? I don't know, but I need a sip of my smoothie. I'm not going to show you where it's from. Refreshing. Does he? Does he do it? I do think the fans may have got to him a little bit. I think down to his core, he's just a good guy. And they were mean to him. He felt bullied by these grown men and women. I mean, come on. I saw a video, and I'm not even sure how old the video was, but I'm pretty certain it was new, of Boston Celtics fans like stomping and punching and swinging on a Kyrie Irving blow-up doll. First of all, to go out of your way to purchase a blow-up doll in order to represent Kyrie Irving, you have too much damn free time. We need to find you a hobby ASAP. I have never despised somebody so much that I go, you know what? Let me go buy a blow-up doll of this person and stomp it out. That'll make me feel better. That'll show him. What on earth is going on? This is what makes Celtics fans hard to bear sometimes. Like, really? He's been off your team for a minute. This man keeps you up at night like that? That's crazy. Now that's crazy right there. If you weren't going back to Kyrie, then who would you go with in game 3? From the Mavs? Is that your question? Joe said he's not getting chirped. He's just missing shots. That's fair. You see what I'm doing? I'm making excuses for this man. What is this? What's going on? He's just a likable guy, I guess. He lied to us season ticket holders. Wow. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you, Sammy. Okay? I get it. You feel wronged. You feel betrayed. I get it. You have to remember that the NBA is a business. Always has been. And always will be. So the things that sports fans take personally, i.e. Kyrie Irving going back on his word and leaving and this, that, or whatever, at the end of the day, he doesn't owe you anything. Now, I get it. You don't have money without having fans. I get it. But it is a business. And I actually had a very great conversation with, this is going to be very random because it's not even basketball related. I had such a great interview last spring it was, with a guy that most Denver fans know named Melvin Gordon. And we got really raw and vulnerable, and I talked to him about his time with Los Angeles and his time with Denver and leaving Denver and leaving LA and all of the things that he went through that many fans despised him for. There are always two sides to every story. And in talking with Melvin, I learned oftentimes, these players get wronged by their teams. The team will paint it like they're the villain, they wronged you, they betrayed you as fans, when really it's the back end of the business that's betraying the fans and just wants that person to be the fall guy. It happens. It's a business, okay? I spoke to Melvin about this in a very transparent manner, which was I didn't want to leave, or I didn't have a choice, or I was promised this and then it wasn't delivered on. The same way you feel like athletes may have wronged you and left you and betrayed you as fans, I get it. Celtics fans don't like Kyrie, and no one's making you like Kyrie. I'm just saying going out of your way to get a blow-up doll to then jump on it and stomp on it is just something I've never had free time to do or even thought about doing. Maybe when I was 5 and had anger problems, maybe then, sure. As a grown adult woman, no. Sorry, never thought that way. Couldn't be me. That's all I'm saying. Let's look at, someone asked me about which player I would bet on if it wasn't Kyrie next game. Do I think I'm going to fall for the Kyrie stuff again? I actually do think I will. Dang it. I hate that for me. Who am I going to go with instead of Kyrie for the Mavs? Let's focus on the Mavs first. Honest to goodness, to me right now, depending on where his line is, because I think his line's probably going to keep growing because he's been doing a little bit better and better and better. Washington, to me, feels like a good bet. Whether it be his points plus his rebounds, I wouldn't go double-double just yet because we know Luka right now is rebounding really well. We know Gafford is rebounding pretty well. So I wouldn't necessarily go for the double-double, but a points plus a rebounds prop for a guy like Washington, don't hate it. You also may want to sprinkle on Washington threes because he takes them. He takes the threes. He was 1 of 5 tonight, but last game, 0 of 3. Okay, my apologies. I'm like, take it. 0 of 3 last game. My point is he takes the threes. And I know that tonight his line was 1.5, so it might be worth a sprinkle. I do think in order for this Mavs team to survive, we actually saw the Celtics. It took them a minute to get hot from 3. But those threes are so clutch for this Celtics team. The Mavs are going to have to start matching that or it's going to be a wrap. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Luka. Definitely not. People are acting like this is who Kyrie is. Have they watched these previous 3 series? Kyrie's is so good. Bounce back game incoming for him. I hope you're right. We all have recency bias, and it's just a thing, and we go off of what we've recently seen and how we've recently felt. I was guilty of that a little bit, and I stand by a lot of the things I said, but in talking about what the Nuggets are going to do in their offseason, talking about Jamal Murray, it would be foolish of me to not give Jamal Murray credit for all the things he's done, especially in the postseason. My point was, this postseason, there was so much of Jamal Murray's skill that either made or broke this Nuggets team. Now, is that fair to Jamal Murray? No, everybody else needs to step up and do their job. It's a team effort, as we've talked about on this stream. But recency bias is a very real thing, and we all deal with it. And just because I work in the media does not mean that I erase my recency bias, erase my bias in general, always say the right thing, and never go back on my word. I do those things, yes. Because like you, in addition to being a part of the media and studying these players and this game, I'm also a fan, which adds an emotional element, and that can be really hard. So yes, the recency bias, I'm sure with people is struggling with Kyrie right now, but he is still Kyrie Irving. And it'll be interesting to see how differently he plays from Dallas. I like your hair. Thank you so much. You know, funny story that nobody asked for, but guess what? It's my show right now, so I can talk about it. It has taken me, I'm still kind of working through it, but 25 years, so my whole life pretty much, to like my curly hair. I have hated it forever. I got a chemical straightening treatment that fried my shiz right off my head. because I wanted my hair to be straight. I usually straighten it every week. Past 2 months, we have been rocking the curls, and I think I am finally coming to terms with being just a curly-headed girly. You always want what you can't have in this life, okay? The straight-haired girlies want curly hair. The curly-haired girlies want straight hair. It's just the fact of the matter. But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. I'm learning to love them and just let them be crazy. I remember, here we go. The internet never goes away. I remember your disrespect. Here, I'm going to pull this up on so I can get it right. I remember your disrespect against Celtics by saying whoever come out of the West is going to be the champs and not the Celtics. I'm keeping receipts. So, Icon, I'm glad you're keeping receipts. I assume you just hopped on. I admitted this maybe 10 minutes ago. I said that I was very wrong in that take. However, I explained a little bit as to why I thought that. Personally, I have felt across the board as a whole, the Western Conference has more star power and was more competitive this season than the Eastern Conference. Now, one could argue that the Eastern Conference had a lot more injuries, and if those players had been healthy, it could have been more evenly matched. That's not what we got, though. We had a very competitive Western Conference that to me was much more competitive than the East. So my reasoning behind that was whoever can get out of the West, as competitive as it is, can handle a Celtics team that hasn't gone up against a fully healthy squad all postseason. So yeah, that was my assumption that was made. That was not an attempt to dismiss the Celtics' talent, although I know that it did. And for that, I was definitely wrong. But I still stand by the fact that the Western Conference is far more competitive than the Eastern Conference. That is how I feel. 100%. Somebody says, I'm just more concerned about Jamal's health, if he's even good to go next season. Really quick before we touch on that, Hugh, I noticed that you've asked 2 questions, and I want to address them because we are very transparent, open here on this show. First one was, why did you leave the volume live? I didn't leave. They got rid of me. Short, sweet answer. We'll leave it at that. And then you said, does anyone know why she left the volume? Broncos show with Orlando Franklin was fantastic. I appreciate that. And I want you to know we will be doing very similar things right here at Guerilla Sports from this studio or from my home studio, talking about the Broncos, dissecting the Broncos, doing post-game on the Broncos, maybe pre-game on the Broncos. We're going to be doing that. So I will transfer that same energy over to what we're doing right here. I will be studying up on the Broncos as soon as I'm done talking about the NBA. We will have that for you. So I appreciate you. You're clearly an OG follower, and I love that. Thank you. But we will continue doing Broncos coverage and content. Here's the thing about the Broncos. We could either have a lot of really great things to talk about, or it could be a dumpster fire. Either way, we'll be talking about it. DJ Seahawk says, is Game 3 a must-win for the Mavs? By the way, you are beautiful. Thank you, first of all. Second of all, yes, it is a must-win. More importantly than it being a must-win, it's a must-show-up for Kyrie Irving game, period. I mean, yeah, he has to show up. Has to. That's just without question. He cannot not show up. Awesome. Thank you for the answer. I become a fan of yours from there. I will follow you regardless. Appreciate you tons for that. But yes, we will continue. We actually have a lot of really exciting things coming with Live Moods and Guerilla Sports. I went and had lunch with some of the gentlemen that work here, and we talked about some different ideas that we have and some really exciting stuff that we're hoping to do. Just know, if all goes well and we can get things planned and organized, you will see me a lot. It will be in many different forms, in many different ways, talking about many different things. You will see me. We will have content flowing steadily, daily. It will be all things Guerilla Sports, Live Moods, and you guys will get a little bit of everything in terms of the content and the sports and all that we cover. So just know it's coming, and we're really, really excited about it. Let's see here. Any other comments? Yes, game 3, back to that comment. Game 3 is definitely do or die, in my opinion, for more than just the reason of, teams don't really, come back from a 0-3 deficit. It never happens. That's really not why I'm saying that. Why I'm saying that is because I just think the Celtics team is really good. And this Mavericks team better turn around and make it competitive ASAP, or it's going to be a problem. You are, KT. You absolutely are. You've been an OG, and I so appreciate it. Because, I've done a lot of things in my career. I have traveled and worked with different companies and brands, and so I really appreciate anybody that has hopped with me from one thing to the next, because I'm kind of everywhere, but really loving what we've got cooking up here at Guerilla Sports. So, no news since the pre-volume. Yeah. Tyler, that is okay. If you were pre-volume, you really are super OG, because I was filming. That was when I was fresh off of learning sports betting. I had just taught myself what a money line was, what an over/under meant, why the favorite was a negative and the underdog was a positive. I was just teaching myself those things. So that is crazy. That feels like forever ago, but yeah, we're coming up on 4 years I've been doing this, because I graduated in 2020. So crazy, just crazy. Yeah. You guys are funny. Yeah. So anyway, super appreciate you guys for always sticking with me. Yeah, since your drinking days and volume days, I did at one point have a show where I made cocktails and talked about the Denver Nuggets. We might have to do a little cocktail sipping while we talk about the Nuggets here. Don't know. Hopefully they don't drive me to drink, okay? Hopefully they don't do that. Now, Broncos, they could. We'll be prepared for whatever. Long story short. Either way, we have been live now. The plan was to do an hour-long show, which is about what we've done at this point. All in all, here's what I know. The Mavericks need Kyrie Irving in a lot of ways, but they absolutely need him to show up more in Game 3. Game 3 is do or die for the Mavericks. The Celtics are really good, and I, Liv Moods, have struggled to give the Celtics proper credit for their talent level, because I just simply don't like their fans. Oops, I said it. I don't have to like all the fans. I just know the Celtics have loud fans that typically speak before they think, aka speak before the Miami Heat series was over last year, and then very quickly wanted to hit Control-Alt-Delete. Too late, I saw it. But I have definitely struggled to give the Celtics team credit, and I will stand by the fact that I believe the Western Conference is far more competitive. I think that the Western Conference, to me, has more star power this year. Now, any other year when the Eastern Conference is healthy, I wouldn't be able to say that as confidently, but this year I can confidently say the Western Conference was tougher and more competitive. So yeah, I had a lot more faith in the Mavericks than what I have seen so far in Game 1 and Game 2. But at the end of the day, Luka cannot do it by himself. Kyrie has to be a part of the equation, because for most of the postseason, he has been, which is why this Mavericks team was able to do what they've done, okay? I mean, against the Clippers, 31, 23, 21, 40, 14, 30, 20. He had one game with 9 points. Okay, against OKC. 2 games, actually, against OKC with 9 points. One of those games was a loss. Hello. So he's got to show up. 12 points, 16 points in the finals against the Celtics team that has pretty much cakewalked the East for reasons of injury or just sheer talent. Who cares at this point? They cakewalked the East. That's just all you need to know. And had a dominant regular season. And got KP back. Hello. So yeah, 12 points, 16 points, it won't work. No 3-pointers, 0 of 5 from 3, 0 of 3 from 3. Come on. You know? Icon says, thanks for explaining your reasoning. I respect you for keeping it real. Keep up the good work, Liv. I see you going on to do big things. Let's go Celtics. Hashtag hate us because they ain't us. Listen, you are so right. The Celtics are just great. And when you're great, you have a target on your back, and it's really easy to dislike your team. I get it. My team won a championship last year. I totally get it. I appreciate your support and always appreciate people holding me accountable for things I have said when I'm wrong. I always appreciate it. So thank you for that. What are your thoughts? I'm just trying to see this. Let me see. What are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark not being on this year's Olympics team? I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I am super glad they did not put her on that roster. Not for the reasons that you may think, but because I think we need to remove the spotlight from this poor girl because she is being added into conversations that I don't even think she wants to be in. People are speaking on her behalf or speaking on her teammates' behalves or whatever it may be. Based on what we see as sports fans, we are forming an opinion that at the end of the day, we don't really know because we're not climbing inside of the brains of these athletes. I am really glad they left her off that roster so that she was able to focus on being a rookie in this league and not face any more added extra scrutiny because she took the spot of whatever XYZ player deserved it over her. There is another opportunity for her to be on that roster, and she absolutely will. Do I think that the Olympics, if we care so much about this and about clicks and about views, do I think they missed a huge opportunity to get more of that? Yes, absolutely I do. But the roster that they did curate is one of all deserving players that deserve to be on it. And I am happy that they kept her off of it to avoid her being inserted into any more negative conversations. I am so sick of seeing it. I really, really am. Mostly for her mental sake. It just feels like a lot from every angle. It feels like a lot from those that have been in the league, the rookies as a whole, Caitlin herself, her teammates. It's just a lot. So honestly, I'm thankful that they didn't put her on the roster. She has other opportunities to be on the roster. She will be on a roster for the Olympics at some point in her career. I don't worry about that. What I do worry about is there has been a lot of media attention put on this person, and a lot of it hasn't been positive. And to me, what it looks like is all this girl is trying to do is ball. That's it. We started watching her because she's a baller. We followed her because she's a baller. That is not to say that there are not other ballers in this league. It's a league full of hoopers. But we watched her because she was something that I think was generational in a lot of ways. And it's hard for me to say that because I don't want to dismiss the other talent in her rookie class alone. But I felt like she was kind of this quiet person that was just pulling up with a Steph Curry looking three that we were tweeting about. And all of a sudden it's like, now we've got our eyes on her. We follow her and we realize she does that every game. That's not a one-time thing. That's her game. So she was a really easy player to follow. That's not to say that these other players did not deserve the same attention. That's not what should be talked about. I just am glad that I am so thankful that she was not involved in the Olympic roster conversation, because I think the scrutiny she would face for something that wasn't her choice would have been horrific for her. So she will get on a roster at some point in her career. I'm glad it wasn't this one, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah, you guys are kind of in the comments saying she needs that break. I agree. Yeah, it just feels like let's cut this girl a little bit of slack. And I don't think she would have had any slack had she been on that roster over somebody else that deserved to be on the roster, right? I mean, these veterans have been in the league for many, many years. Their stats speak for themselves. They deserve their spot on that roster, period. I'm not going to argue that. So I'm super glad she did not get on that roster ahead of somebody else and potentially face even more scrutiny than she's already faced. Because it's been a lot. It's been a lot for me, and I'm not Caitlin Clark. It's felt like a lot, and I'm not Caitlin Clark. So I can't imagine what that feels like for any of these players that have been talked about nonstop. And I get it. That's what the WNBA has wanted, is attention and eyeballs and all these different things. And I think that's important because I think that's how they get paid. For years and years and years, what has the excuse been on why players don't get paid well in the WNBA? It's because people don't watch it. People are watching it now. Meaning a lot of people have strong opinions. Right or wrong, they have them. So, I'm just happy she gets a little bit of a break there. And I think that the roster that they created for the Olympics is the right one. And I'll leave it at that. Because I think any other type of conversation will ignite a flame that I don't want to argue about right now. The roster is a fantastic one. They all deserve their spot there. Caitlin will get her opportunity. It's just not this year. So, there you go. I think that's all, you guys. Someone said, what's your take on if the Nuggets were in the finals instead of the Mavs? Let me tell you. This will be the last comment that we address before we wrap things up and get out of here. I don't like living in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I really don't, because it ultimately just hurts my feelings at the end of the day. It ultimately hurts my feelings at the end of the day. But I will say, do I think the Nuggets would have stood a chance against the Mavericks? Yeah, I do. Do I think the Nuggets had the talent and the skill to go head-to-head against the Celtics? Yeah, I do. What I think the Nuggets didn't have this year was the mentality. For that reason, I'm glad they're not in the finals, because it would just be hard to watch. There were many games I felt like I was more locked in than the Nuggets. Now, to be fair, I'm not the one playing basketball, and I wasn't the one playing basketball all the way through June and then restarting a short month later. So the fatigue, the exhaustion, I'm sure is real, especially mentally. But because of that in itself, I think the mental toughness or lack thereof by the Nuggets this year was the reason that they did not go as far as they could have. And I don't think they were going to be able to pull from anywhere to get that back. I think that they were fully exhausted and fatigued and just ready for a break. Do I think that there's a futures bet calling my name for the Nuggets next season? You bet your bottom dollar I do. And I'm placing it. Just saying. But this year, it wasn't their year. It just wasn't. And I am so glad I don't have to be sweating and puking and feeling sick to my stomach over this team this year. Jokic looks like he's having the time of his life right now. Let the man live his life. This has been another post-game live talking all things NBA. We will continue to hopefully do this throughout the finals as long as I can make it down to the studio and we've got people here. But either way, you can expect live tweeting. You can still expect Hoops Your Daddy. And very soon you can expect much, much more from this Guerilla Sports studio with myself behind the mic talking to you guys via chat. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for holding me accountable on stupid things I say, like the Celtics weren't going to do what they're doing. It happens, guys. I'm not perfect. And sometimes I say really stupid crap. And I'm glad that you hold me accountable for it. All that to say, thank you for being here. Much love to you all. We will be back again very soon. Potentially for game 3, but definitely next week for another Hoops Your Daddy episode to talk all things NBA. So we will see you then. Thanks for tuning in. Lots of love and go get some sleep. Bye.